So, that is correct. I did go back and play Vanguard. And, yeah, it, it was, it was okay. It was alright. Not that the game's alright. I'm just saying my experience with going back was a little, eh. In the lobbies I got into, and this probably isn't the entirety of the game, but first of all, I'm pretty sure the game might be dead, because there was some times where I was sitting there for 10 to 15 minutes queuing for a game. I had not a playlist, like just searching core with everything selected, and not a single, it took 10 to 15 minutes to find per game. And yeah, so I don't know if Vanguard's like dead or there's just a matchmaking bug with the game, which wouldn't surprise me because right now with Modern Warfare 2019, there is a matchmaking bug and it's been in the game since 2020. So maybe this game has had a matchmaking bug since like 2022 or something. But that being said, my lobbies for this footage was either sweaty or campy or both. And yeah, it just made me realize how the balance, and I know I complain about this all the time with Call of Duty balance, and this goes back to games that I love in the COD franchise, from games like Modern Warfare 2019. The balance in that game is pretty one-sided when it comes to certain guns like the AS-VAL, the Uzi, the CX-9. I just made a video talking about that. There'll be an info card if you guys want to go watch it. Games like the original Modern Warfare 2, that balance was fucked. You guys get my point. But Vanguard was such a, it felt like every season with Vanguard, they were just like SMG, SMG, SMG. Let's add another SMG, SMG, or let's add a gun that never existed in the 40s, or let's add a prototype that so and so. Like, I could go on about Vanguard, and one of the biggest things that irritates me about Vanguard is its authenticity. And obviously, as someone who loves history and is fascinated with the 1900s, starting with the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, even the 50s and 60s, and I just love history, and specifically World War II is kind of my focus. And when I see games, mainly AAA shooters, indie games don't really have this issue. AAA games, especially with Sledgehammer, I don't think Sledgehammer should be making any more World War II games because they just seem to not get anything right. And with this game, it's no different, especially the campaign. The campaign it's good cinematically, but when it comes to authenticity and historical accuracy wise, they get so much shit wrong, and even in some campaign missions, they just make shit up. One of the campaign missions that you play as Arthur, I think it's the first one where you're jumping into France. For some reason, and I can't remember the battery, for the love of God, I can't remember. I think it starts with an M, but I can't remember, but I think it was called Operation Tonga, and it was just British paratroopers. They jump in just like all the paratroopers had jumped in to take care of strategic objectives. Those of you who watch Band of Brothers, this mission was kind of similar to that. They had to take care of a battery. Now, this battery wasn't anywhere near the coast and was not even on a cliff. And the only cliff sides in Normandy, the nearest one was Pointe du Hoc. And from my knowledge, no British troops are anywhere near Pointe du Hoc. It was all the 2nd Rangers. But the majority of that mission is just completely fake. It's completely fictional. Not the operation and not the objective, just the way Sledgehammer did that mission was completely wrong, and I don't know why they didn't even bother to. That mission alone just proves to me that they didn't even bother to research about that operation, or maybe they did and they just didn't give a shit, which is also plausible. But yeah, the entirety of the campaign was not authentic to World War II, not accurate at all to history. Immediate air invasion in the game is set off by Stukas coming in and strafing. Now, the thing wrong with these Stukas, and I'm going to go really nerd into this so you guys can just skip ahead, but the Stuka model that is strafing these commies is the Ju-87 B2 or G6. I'll annotate it on screen. I can't remember the specific model. But they have 37 millimeter winged cannons mounted to the wings. Those variants of the Stuka didn't exist at that time period during the invasion of Stalingrad, during the encirclement of Stalingrad, I should say. Those variants didn't exist. The Panzer IVs that you see in the game, I believe they're a hodgepodge between the Panzer IV-G and the Panzer IV F2, excuse me, I said Panzer II before. Soviets have the T-34-85 in the game, which that variant didn't fucking exist. It would be, I don't even think they would be T-34s at that point. The bombers that are flying ahead while you're running through getting strafed by Stukas, which, by the way, they wouldn't strafe just a lone fucking woman running down the street. For the high altitude ones that aren't that high altitude from my memory, if I'm remembering correctly, they are HE-177. They're Germany's, I'll put an image on screen for you guys, but those didn't exist yet. They should be HE-111s. The early variants of the HE-111s. They're not. So it just goes to show you that Sledgehammer A didn't do research, or B, they did and just didn't give a shit. And the reason why I have a bigger problem with this is because they marketed this game as an authentic, historical, accurate World War II shooter. And what did we get? Nothing of the sorts. Especially multiplayer. You had dragons running around, you had robots running around, you had a Rose Skin 2.0 that had a purple outline, crazy blueprints, crazy operator skins. Now, I'm a hypocrite in saying this because I really loved this event, and this was mainly a Warzone event that tied into Vanguard, but that was the Godzilla event for Vanguard. I absolutely loved it. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so that, to use the term lightly, that tickled my peach. I absolutely loved the Godzilla event. Again, I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so of course I had to buy all the Godzilla stuff. I didn't buy all of them, but all the calling cards and stuff, and I grinded that event. I wish they would have gave you an event camo, kind of like what Modern Warfare 2 did with the ghoulie camo on Halloween. I would have loved a Godzilla-themed atomic camo it was like an animated atomic breath camo on your guns that you could get. So there's an idea. So if there's another Godzilla event crossover for Warzone, atomic camo grind, there you go. I mean, technically Vanguard already had that, but you could just call it Godzilla's atomic breath for your guns, and it's like this animated light blue color. That would have been sick, but they didn't do that, so missed opportunity. But that being said, back to the authentic part. Yeah, maybe I should stop, because if I keep going, I'm just gonna start shit in the comments, and then, yeah. So we're gonna skip in the multiplayer, where I wish the game would have just been like World at War and would have been at least authentic. Now, World at War is not historically accurate. There's a lot of things wrong with that game too, but it is highly authentic to World War II, and I think it does the conflict justice, if you want to say it that way. This game doesn't at all, and in my opinion, a lot of people might get mad at me saying this, but in my opinion, Vanguard spits in the face of the greatest generation of World War II. That generation that gave us the ability to sit here and play video games, make games about it, me sitting here complaining about it through a YouTube video. They did that for us so we could do this. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because video games is a huge... I'm drawing a blank because I'm retarded, but it's a huge way for people to learn about history. And I think video games and movies are the top two biggest things in pop culture, at least nowadays. When I was growing up, it was more books, and video games were just starting with that, and TV shows like The Pacific, Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, which are my 3 all-time favorite TV shows. I watch Band of Brothers at least 3 times a year. I know a lot of people are going to be like, really, dude? But yeah, I've watched Band of Brothers probably over 1,000 times at this point in my entire lifetime, where people learn about history and stuff, and then when you do it a disjustice and you don't tell it correctly and you don't tell it right, and you're not historically accurate, at least when it comes to the campaign. The multiplayer can be a little bit loose because there's no story being told there, but at least stay authentic. So, like, no stupid skins, no blueprints, all this other shit that doesn't make sense, that really doesn't need to be in the game. People are going to look at that, and I made this argument when Vanguard was during its prime, and actually, in my opinion, didn't really have a prime back in its life cycle. I made the argument saying if a 12-year-old plays this game, he's going to think this is what happened during World War II, especially if he plays the campaign or if he plays the multiplayer. And let's say he had a grandfather that served in World War II, he's going to go to his grandfather and be like, Dad, this new Call of Duty game called Vanguard set during World War II, is any of this real? Did any of this happen? And stuff. So, yeah, that really hurts. For some reason, I'm fascinated with that time period, like the early 1900s, starting with World War I, going up until the 60s. I'm just fascinated with that era, and I'm constantly learning more and stuff about it, and learning more about battles that some people never heard of during World War II, whether it was from the Americans, the British, the Canadian, the Japanese, the Russians, Germans, etc. And just learning about that stuff is amazing, and it needs to be told. And this goes back to pop culture. Video games is one of the biggest ways to tell those stories correctly and accurate and authentic. So when people play these games, they're like, oh, so World War II isn't like dragon skins running around and stuff. Again, this is more pertaining to campaign. Again, multiplayer doesn't really need to be that story-driven stuff, because there's no story there. I do apologize for going on that rant, but on talks of multiplayer, the games I had were, like I said in the beginning, the games I had were very campy and very sweaty. More campy than sweaty. Some of the gameplay in the background that you've seen, it shows that. It's just the map I played, Beheaded, you saw the one dude just constantly camping in the back of the map with an LMG and stuff. That was a big problem in this game. Was not only were SMGs just insane, the shotguns were insane in this game too. Like the running around dual wielding double barrels with fucking Dragon's Breath, and then the trench gun running around with Dragon's Breath on that gun. With that game, I can't even fucking speak. I'm sorry. I think all of the shotguns you could actually dual wield fire. A dual wield fire shotgun, like, it was insane. And then LMGs with people just constantly camping and stuff with LMGs, it was just annoying. The camo challenges in this game, I fucking hated the camo challenges in this game. This is probably the worst Call of Duty in my opinion when it comes to grinding camos. I only have a select few guns gold in this game, and I just couldn't bring myself to grind for atomic camo. Even the zombies camos, I just couldn't bring myself to grind for that. I think I'm a little bit closer to getting the mastery camo for zombies. I can't even remember what it's called. All I remember is a green animated camo. But I really loved the design of multiplayer's mastery camo. Atomic, I really loved the design. I would love to see that return, but just easier and less grindy to get, because God, I hated the camo challenges in this game. I know I said that with the Modern Warfare 2 video, but I would much rather have Modern Warfare 2 camo grind than the Vanguard camo grind, because mad respect to all the people that legit grinded the camos for Vanguard. If you use an unlocked tool or you exploited to get camo grinding, no respect for me. That's a bitch move in my opinion. Especially people who use unlocked tools. If you use an unlocked tool, you deserve to get banned. I'm just gonna say it. I know some people might disagree, but you're using an unlocked tool, get banned. Like, just play the game normal and grind the fucking game. But that being said, there were some weapons in the campaign, mainly one that I'm really ticked off about, and that's the Lee Enfield. And another thing they did the Lee Enfield dirty is the Lee Enfield is one of, if not the only, bolt-action rifle during its time in the 40s and such, and its early predecessors with the SMLE #1 Mark III, is a 10-round detachable box magazine bolt-action. This is a British rifle, and you can either feed it with 2 5-round stripper clips, or you could use detachable box magazines, but the British military never taught their soldiers to carry around just magazines. It was only just stripper clip loaded. I'm sure you can find some historical photos somewhere or notation somewhere where some soldiers did use just magazines, but I doubt it, because the British military, that wasn't their doctrine to use the magazines. It was just the standard stripper clips. But it's in the campaign, wasn't in the multiplayer. Don't know why. It didn't even need to come with a major patch. They could have just, like a major season update, they could have straight up just patched it with a random hotfix and put it in the game. They also did it dirty by chopping the rear sight block off, which is just made me want to throw up. The front sight block was misaligned as well, and it also only had a max capacity of 5 rounds, which previously stated, I just said it holds 10 rounds. I actually own 2 Lee Enfields. I have a Lee Enfield number 4 Mark III, and then I own an SMLE number 1 Mark III. That being said, they could have added the Lee Enfield and the SMLE to the game, because the SMLE did see service in the early years of the war, and with Britain's what's the word I'm looking for? Their colonies used the SMLE. They could have added the Gewehr 41, just another weapon for the semi-auto category. They also did the SVT 40 dirty. The fire rate doesn't match its real life counterpart. The magazine just, yeah, the fire rate, the damage, it's just, you guys saw it in the beginning of the video, but they could have added so many more weapons to the game. I believe the FG42, I can't remember if it's in the game or not. The MG34, not in the game. The Browning 30 cal, not in the game. The 1903 and the 1903A4, not in the game. Other World War II guns they could have added to Vanguard, and they didn't. They just decided, hey, we're going to add either prototypes, a laser weapon, in a World War II game that came out in the mid-2000s, the FNF 2000, guns that came out in the 50s and the 60s in a World War II game. You guys see my point? It just, this whole game doesn't feel like Sledgehammer even gave a shit about the fucking time period they were making the game in. Oh, it could have had so much potential and could have been the best authentic World War II shooter that COD, why did I say it like that? That COD could have had. Like, it just really could have, because World at War is the last authentic World War II shooter that Call of Duty has, and I'm really, really, really hoping there's another one in the pipeline not made by Sledgehammer. I want it to be made by IW or Treyarch. More IW, because with the recent release of Black Ops 6, I'm a little bit worried if Treyarch got their hands on making a World War II game, if they'd fuck that one up too. I would love for them to straight up just copy World at War, add upon it, obviously in the new engine, make it a lot better, more weapons authentic to the time period, more campaign missions. Basically, I'm asking for a remake, but just add more to it and just keep it the way it is. Don't add bundles to the game. Keep the factions in the game. Don't add operators. Don't add weapon blueprints. Just add authentic maps, modes, calling cards, guns, gadgets, equipment, etc. World at War 2.0, baby. I want it so bad. World at War is just a gem. I'm honestly thinking about, if you guys want me to, I'm honestly thinking about making a video playing World at War on veteran, but also historically accurate. There's a lot of historical accurate mods for World at War right now that completely change the campaign when it comes to uniforms, guns, dates, and just everything about the game. Make it historically accurate. If you guys want me to do a veteran World at War campaign run that's historically accurate, please let me know down in the comments, because I really want to, but I want you guys to let me know if you want to see it, because if you want to see it, I'll do it. Maybe we can even get a buddy of mine to play with us on veteran, because that would be insane. Though I don't think you can't play Vendetta, and there's 1 or 2 missions you can't play on co-op, which I thought was very weird. But that being said, again, let me know if you guys want to see that. Really don't like about Vanguard is the weapon animations and just the overall sound design of the game. I really hate the sound design. I know that sounds very nitpicky and just useless to complain about, but it's just another example of why I think Sledgehammer didn't really bother to actually put their full love into this game and making it authentic and stuff, because all of the sounds in the game, the explosions, the weapon animation sounds, the equipment sounds, everything that requires sound in the game, they straight up, at least what it seems like, and there's evidence in the game, they ported over the sound design from Call of Duty World War II into this game. And if you put a side-by-side of the sound design, reload animations from the MG4, from every gun that's in World War II that's in this game, the sound design is the same fucking thing. The BAR sound animation is the same from World War II, the MG42, the M1 Garand, the Kar-98, the Mosin Nagant, the Arasaka that's in the game. Every single gun's animation sound is the same. The explosions are the same. Just everything about it is the same, and I hate it. And it's just another thing that I really want another true, authentic, and gritty World War II game from Treyarch or IW, because I don't think Sledgehammer can do it, because they fucked up twice now. Man, even if IW just remade Call of Duty 2 with new shit, kind of like what I mentioned with the World at War example, I would be happy. Because Call of Duty 2 is one of my favorite Call of Duty games, and it's one of the games that I grew up with playing on 360. Not to mention Call of Duty 2 Big Red one on PS2, but that was made by Treyarch. Redeeming quality here about Vanguard is the MG42 and the M1 Garand itself. It was literally the first two guns I got gold, and then I just stopped, like I previously mentioned. That's the only redeeming quality about the game. Quickly, another thing I just mentioned is the utter disgusting ability to completely fuck over the guns in the game. There was too many attachments for World War II guns. All of the attachments never fucking existed. Some of the sights, like the NIDAR sight, yes, it existed, but it was never attached to any guns. It was never used in combat. It was never used to begin with. A small little nitpick. The bayonet attachment for certain guns, the bayonet was a Kar-98 bayonet. Now, that's not the official designation, but for everyone else, I'm just going to call it the Kar-98 bayonet. You could put it on the M1 Garand. You could put it on the BAR. I think the BAR had a bayonet attachment in the game. Every bolt action, every battle rifle, every marksman rifle in the game, some of the LMGs, some of the assault rifles in the game, the bayonet stayed the same. It didn't change based on what gun you're using. So if you put the bayonet attachment on the M1 Garand, as you saw in the gameplay, it's not the M1 Garand bayonet. It's not the standard issue M1 Garand bayonet. It's the Kar-98 bayonet. If you put it on the STG, it's Kar-98 bayonet. If you put it on the Arasaka, you can see my point. So I'm going to stop yapping and shut up so you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I do apologize for this random rant about Vanguard and just this random Vanguard video to begin with. I didn't really expect it to play it. I kind of just felt the urge to do a little bit retrospective on the game, kind of like what I did with the Modern Warfare 2 video. I don't foresee myself revisiting this game anymore unless I, for some reason, have the urge to use the MG42 again, because I really want it to return in Black Ops 6, which I don't think it will. And IW's next game, I really hope it has it in it next year, not this year. But without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, ding the notification bell so you guys know when I upload next. Again, let me know down in the comments if you want me to do a veteran, historically accurate run of World at War on the channel, and maybe even a co-op run too, because I know there's like those 2 missions you can't play co-op in World at War. But I'm gonna stop yapping. I hope you guys enjoyed your day today, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Damn, that motherfucker blew me up like crazy with a grenade. I didn't even